Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Me Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League week number 5 TTT out on the mighty Metropolitan. We are covering today America's East, the East 1. No, there is no 1. There's no East 1. Division 1, though. Division 1. Well, I guess it's East 1 in general, kind of, because there's no 2. Dave, just double checking that I've got your mic on real quick. Thanks. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, by default, right?
Gotcha.
By default,
well,
it's
not
1.
By default, necessarily. I guess it is. Yeah. So Nathan Guerra, Dave Toll, and we're on America's tonight. And this is a course that is really, I mean, the recons have been important. That's what I'll say, right? Seen a lot of people broken on this course.
Yeah, I go back to that World of Zwift, the last episode where you did the recon, and it opened my eyes. I think it was great, to tell you the truth. It challenges the team. Every team is tested out here. And when you see a team that does it well, you really take your cap off to them as far as staying together on that reverse KOM climb. That's a brute. I mean, and they call that about a 6% average grade, Nathan, over a little more than a K. But to be honest, when you take out that little flat section right in the middle, there's about 150 meters where it flattens out. It doesn't go completely flat, but gets pretty flat. It would be more like 9.5% or 9, somewhere right in there. So this is the toughest team.
It's a really good point. Let's take a look at this quick. Dave, why don't you walk us through this? I mean, the reality of this. You covered this. You covered this yesterday in the Premier Division.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed your coverage earlier today as well. It's 20K, which sounds like, I'm going to guess that's the shortest team time trial course that we've had. It's also the hardest by a long shot. 319 meters of climbing that you can see. And it's that reverse KOM that you can see at 1.1 kilometers at 5.7%. That is really underselling it. That's for sure. A lot of teams blew up. I didn't have a chance to watch all of the coverage this afternoon, Nathan, but it looked like it was pretty much 50-50, right? About half of the teams were able to, we always laugh and say, get your act together and keep the team as a unit. And other teams really did blow up. And some teams are still looking for each other out there.
They're still hanging out there. We had a couple of people.
Whatever happened? Yeah.
We had a couple of people just sitting on the sidelines, actually, like, okay, that's enough. I'm wondering if the avatars are still sitting there. before we jump down into the racing, it is happening at the moment. The women are out there right now. Let's take a look at how things stand. As this is actually going to be the women from. There we got the women's standings. There we go. I was like, why are the in real life Serrano Hams, Ireland Serrano Hams hanging out at the top of the leaderboard? There's the start of the pros. Look at this battle. This is what we talked about at the beginning, and it is not disappointing at all.
I love it. There's really two races going on. It doesn't get better than this. So Sarah's the Pros Closet and Finesse Rockets tied at 78. Finesse Rockets, Nathan, I don't know if I'd say they came out of nowhere, but I think that they caught a few folks on their back foot because this team has been super strong. That's Tara Fretter and company. We'll be talking about them. Obviously, Sarah's the Pros Closet. They've been one of the, I would say, top-notch teams that we've been watching racing really my entire time, Nathan. And I know they kind of fall on the timeline of esports. They slot in a couple years ago, but they certainly have put together an incredible program. I should ask you more about that. But then look at this, 67 for Cryogen Gallop. And Cryogen is having the best 2 weeks they've ever had. 1 point back, folks, is Agawatt. And then, still in the hunt, because a lot of things can happen out here, Wadi Inc. Super Kitty, one of our West Coast-based teams with 63 points. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, do. Well, they've been really proud of the Sisu program, or I Race Like a Girl has been phenomenal across the board. 62 points for them right now. So you can see that grouping there. Looks like they'll be fighting for third. But Nathan, one thing that we learned is if one of the top teams has a gong show of a day, maybe two technicals and another rider just missing the boat, all of a sudden you can fall back. You can lose 5 points, which would start to change the conversation.
Yeah, 100%. I think between this, though, really the Agawatt team is also something to stand out there, I think. Just with the fact that they are just very recently launched. Like, they essentially came right into season 2 and boom, right up toward the top. They may have a couple of things to figure out. It was a roster put together out of a break off from another team. So, the reality of needing to kind of find their gel, how they all work together, as well as maybe upping the talent on it. But I know they got big aims, and they're showing it by immediately in that fourth and, overtaking some teams that have been around for a little while as well. B category ATP. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Nathan, do you mind going back for me? Because for some reason I just jumped off. So Stages Cycling, this was the team that we were talking about last week. The Marion University squad, Elijah Beatty, Paisley Sheehan and company. So they're a team that's as fresh as they could be. So I didn't want to all of a sudden leave them out. Coors Sports at 51. They're right behind at 55 for Stages. Ms. Understood at 48. And then Royal City, Guelph, Royal City Cycling, the WA1 team at 47. I apologize for that, Nathan. I didn't finish the job. I left my tools out.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We're moving over to the Women's America's East Division 1B. ATP Racing Stingers got a solid lead over the top of Herd of Hummingbirds. Cryogen Marie Blanc at third place there, with Agawatt Experience CCNS Ladies in fifth, and then it's going to be Lace Watson Sisters JZQ B in sixth. Agawatt Extra in seventh. Sisu I Race Like a Girl Freya in eighth. Spinnamin Buns coming to a mall near you. That would be actually a really, somebody's going to launch that now, but that would be like, you got the cinnamon buns next to the spin bike in the mall, dude. Like, that would be, you could definitely sell.
You just gave away $1 million idea, Nathan.
Fearless Furiosa's there in 10th. I mean, it was there. That's all about the cinnamon buns. They did it. They can go launch that. I don't want to run that business anyways.
You're busy. Yeah. Let's take a look at the Herd of Otters 1 here. So it is a pod of dolphins listening to you and Kate. That absolutely cracked me up. I love that element of the broadcast. Herd of Otters. I don't know with otters, but let's go with Herd. 79 points. That's pretty close to a perfect score. We're 4 races into an 8-race season. ATP Racing Hive. Love this team. 76 points. Right in the mix. They got to look back too, though, because Agawatt Fire is sitting there on 72 points. You can see that's still close as Z Tsunami sitting on 64. It's tied at 57 for the Margaritas and Wadi Inc. Flash, 53 and 52. So that's our friends at No Drama Llamas at 53. And then CCNS Mary Crank Inksters with 52. Solid job by all of our C's, including the Atalanta. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, 43 points for them. So that's the C's, Nathan.
And in the D category, it is going to be WTRL drafting Dinos. They're in first. Herd of Blistering Bobcats in second. Looks like the drafting Dinos have a pretty good lead coming back from extinction now. Lay Watts Sisters JZQCD in third. Herd of Blazing Bobcats in fourth. Revo Kit Kats in fifth. ATP Racing Buzz in sixth. Lamaste chilling out in seventh. WTRL drafting Dinos there in eighth. Herd of Bounding Bobcats in ninth. And C-Star Like a Girl Pele. They round out the top 10. That's the situation in the women's category right now. The men are about to get on course in just 4 minutes, so let's go ahead and go over them as to what their where their stands are. And that team at the top, I raced against some of those boys, and
oh boy,
I was in the Movistar race last week, and I cannot believe how strong. Like I was.
Yeah,
It was so difficult. Bob Duffy and crew. That crew next is next level.
That's awesome. Let's put a pin in that and talk more about it during the racing tonight, Nathan, because I am super curious to hear. That's one of the best stories that we have going here in season 2. Wasn't it amazing that last week we had an NHL superstar, a Tour de France veteran, an Olympian all racing with us in this time slot? You guys are the best. So speaking of the best, 80 points. That's a perfect score right now. 4 wins for next. Do you think that stands for next level? It has to. Next LVL. If it doesn't, I'm stunned. Cryogen Alpe d'Huez in second with 73. It's tight there for the top 3 spots because Endurance Works is sitting on 71 points here on our table for the East Division 1A. 67 for ATP Racing Hydrogen. 60 for Cannondale Echelon presented by 4i. They're in 5th. It's 6th right now for the Royal City Cycling MA1 team, Vision America's East, and 7th, the Rockets of Zwift headquarters, the ZHQ Rockets A team, in full effect with 47 points, 45 for the WTRL Supersonics, and then Dirt Farm sitting in 10th right now. There's almost 10,000 racers taking part on Thursdays and Tuesdays in our community, whether it's WTRL or the ZRL, Nathan. It is amazing, and every rider seems to have found a great team. I'll throw it back to you for the B's here.
Dirty Ducks in first, ATP Racing Neon in second currently for the B category, BMTR B2 in third, Dirty Deezers in fourth, On the Rivet Ustby in fifth, Cryogen Harakam in sixth for the men, Rulers Polo Velo in seventh, WTRL Bombers, Gotham Grinders, and RR Northern Rhinos. The real battles, it looks like, are for that 4th through 6th place as the Dirty Ducks have kind of walked away, as well as maybe kind of solid 3rd might be up for grabs. We'll have to wait and see in the last couple of weeks, but that's the situation in the Bs.
Yeah, we'll find out a lot today, actually, on that. Let's check back in there, too. ATP Racing Nitrogen is on top of the table with 77, but it's only 2 points ahead of the Mad Mustangs, the Herd of Mad Mustangs sitting in second. Herd Mentality in third right now with 71, 65 points in fourth for the Dirty Grinders. Fifth right now is ATP Racing Freon, 64 points for them. Apogee Racing at 60, they're sitting at sixth. Seventh is WTRL SQL, eighth right now, Dirty Time to Grind. 9th place is the RR Nuclear Rhinos. They're the Rhinos. 10th is TFC Mojo. That is your C's heading into the second half of the season here. So 80 points, a perfect score. We don't see too many of those, but Nathan, looks like you've got the Dirty Dogs who got pretty close.
Yeah, Dirty Dogs there, 79 points. It's going to be ATP Racing Helium. They've got a solid second. Herd of Dashing Destroyers in third, tied with High Speed, but the better of the placings, it looks like. Herd of Fighting Frisians in fifth, it looks like. TT1 Beta Cells in sixth with 1 point ahead of Herd of Dainty Paints. And then Wadi Ink Patriot, 51 points in eighth. Herd of Plowing Percheon in ninth. And then Z-Sun Bums. That's a great Z-Sun Bums there. I'm loving the names. All right, let's jump on over right into the racing as our first team out on course for the ladies, 8.4 kilometers in, it looks like. This is going to be, I believe this is going to be, for the tags in here, I am seeing RCC as well as the Royal City. I believe that's what this is going to be. They're hammering away here. I also seen LPC in the name, but I am seeing Jamnicky here with Royal City Women's A here. So 152. They are just starting that Queen of the Mountain reverse here in just a moment. 15% it kicks up here. That's part of the thing here is that doesn't tell you about this part that doesn't count. It doesn't.
Which
So
it
you
really
take a
should.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take a right, and then it actually starts the Queen of the Mountain banner up here on the right. So this little
In my
50%
mind,
gradient kick doesn't actually count for it.
right, in my mind, it should count. That's for sure. Because, yeah, this is, well, it speaks to the most challenging team time trial course, Nathan, that we've seen. So this is, you see all the Canadian flags there. This is, Alexandra Coates, Danielle Jocelyn, you mentioned Dominika Jamnicki, Heather Patrick, and Tara McDonald make up this team. McDonald racing out of South Africa. The rest of the riders are Canadian here. 5 together. Doesn't get much better than this, to tell you the truth, Nathan. Riding at their tempo. We've talked about how the best climbers on your team really have to learn how to operate that throttle, and for the best of the team, be able to set a pace that the other riders can work with, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. So nice to start with the team that's doing a really good job.
We're looking at some of the splits as they do come in at the 6 kilometer mark as this Royal City Women's does start in into their climb. This is the part of the course that has spun a lot of these teams, kind of unattached a lot of them. They've gotten broken or they've won, I think. It's really, this is the place where it all kind of goes down in a lot of ways. We are seeing the top team starting to come through with these times. Royal City, though, that we are seeing there in 9th place currently at 10:05. Only about we're saying 50 seconds, a little more than 50 seconds back or so than the top teams at this point. So it's pretty close still out here, but Finnish Rockets with a 9:16. Ego Watt showing they got a little bit of something today.
Good for them.
These standings here. If I go back and take a look at where they are at, Ego Watt currently in 4th. They're doing pretty well to, start the pros class. We'll have to see how they come through.
We'll see how they,
seeded,
exactly. I wouldn't anticipate they could be too much quicker than 9:15. That is absolutely flying. Looking at that Finesse Rockets time at 9:16. So great job by Agawatt. It'll be interesting if this turns into a 3-team race. And to tell you the truth, Waddy Inc. Super Kitty not that far back right now, all things considered. That 10K check tells us a whole lot more because that's at the end of the reverse KOM.
Great point. Cryogen Gallopin, they are in 3rd place in the standings. Agawatt right behind them by 1 point. So that is the battle to watch out for. 7 seconds difference. It can be a hot start. We've seen a lot of, in the Premier Division, I saw Cryogen went out super hot. They were ahead by like 17 seconds maybe or something like that in the women's race, but they ended up fading. There is that reality that you can go out pretty fast and end up fading a little bit. Stars Pros Closet just coming through actually, 9:24. So it does look like Agawatt really punching above their weight, as you would say, Dave.
Yeah, and you know what? If I'm Sarah's the pros closet, Nathan, I'm okay with that because there's so much to be won or lost on this part of the course where we see Jessica McWhirter. Excuse me, Jessica lives in Denver. She's a writer and does a writer and a rider. And she does a lot of writing about riding, actually. And she's an incredibly cool person. That when you look in this era of inclusiveness and empowerment of women and getting more women out on bikes, well, Jessica does a tremendous job. And this team, Lisa Lutenegger is the Swiss rider on the squad. Hilly van Kloster is that's a great Dutch name. Probably has some Dutch heritage, Canadian there, and Aaron Ayala on the Revo team. So yeah. I like where their heads are at here, Nathan, working well together.
They're doing a great job. This is a great steady pace here that we are seeing here. CeeLo now bumping it up a little bit. Now I'm liking how they're kind of changing paces a little bit here. I think CeeLo took a nice little dig and then sent McWhirter off the front a little bit. Did you see how it even boosted her forward? This is a nice little.
This is how you support your teammates.
Revo. Yeah, now I'm wondering if CeeLo's going backwards at this point, or if that was just a turn. We'll have to wait and see if it does hang on here. But McWhirter coming through, 10:03 right now, 2-second difference. They're really battling it out with Misunderstood and Royal City that we saw. That's a very small split between those 3 teams now.
Yeah, Nathan, when you analyze the data here, the Finesse Rockets, this is a really good indicator for them as well. I don't know. Your thoughts on them being called the breakthrough team of season two? For me, they are on the women's side, at least, and actually maybe both sides. When you look at, I don't really remember that much from the team before this season, and they have gone up a couple of levels out here, and now it looks like today they're going to be the team to beat at this point. We're going to learn so much more here as we start getting these 10K checks in. Revo was one of the first teams to start here. So that data will start filtering through to us. It'll be very, very interesting. Boy, you get through this part of the course and you've kind of run the gauntlet now, Nathan. Z-Sun, good job. Davies here. One rider dangling off the front is no problem. It's when you've got three riders in different zip codes that you've got a real issue.
You have to keep at least 4 or 5 of the riders in the same zip code. Somebody can travel off.
If you can do that, keep them in the same zip code. Yeah.
As Frank here comes on through. Finesse Rockets, I'd say as far as breakthrough, yeah, I could agree with that. There's 2 teams that would come to mind that are kind of like land on the scene. Who were you? Kind of a thing, and that would be Beast Mode and Egowatt.
Good
Those
call.
come to mind when it comes to just like landing with a splash cannonball and everybody just like shocker. Who are you people? But Finesse Rockets, I definitely say a team that's been around for a while brings a women's squad on in the last year or so, and suddenly they're like at the top battling with Stars Pros Closet. Pretty awesome to see, and definitely some breakthrough rides. Egowatt, this is the team that we've been talking about though a lot. They're coming through at that 9:17. About to hit that 10K mark in a second here. So great to see Egowatt all together, it looks like, with
Who'd they
1,
catch?
2, 3. Yep. Where's their 4th rider? Oh, there it comes on through.
There we go.
Catch.
Little
I
sticky.
believe that's going to be the Stages team, who needs to find the rest of the riders, actually, because over the top here, this is where you can lose a lot of time, because without a snowball effect, I mean, they almost have to like turn their avatars around because they're in with another team at this point, and they can't really help that. There's nothing they can do now.
Well, Nathan, what I'd love to do is encourage. So, the Stages is the team of Ariel Corey, C. Harris Momsen, Gwen Inglis, who's a multi-time Colorado State champion, Nicole Jurish, and Paisley Sheehan. What I'd like these women to do, well, I mean, there's a really steep learning curve with not only Zwift, but even more so the team time trial element. They're pretty new to this. I love that they have the courage to jump in, and once they start watching these, like your course recon video that was on World of Zwift, and then riding together, like I know 2024 has done a really good job of getting the team together to work on this, work on team time trialing. It is such a specific discipline, and I'll be fair, this is the toughest course we've ever raced on to keep your team together. Well, Nathan, you do this. What do you think? I haven't seen one tougher. I think it would be easier to keep the team together in a lot of ways on Alpe de Zwift, because once you lock in at whatever the tempo is, that's it. Where here you have the variability aspect.
Yeah, exactly. And we are seeing in game here a couple of messages. It was definitely not on purpose here. Coy needs to get moving, though. She can't just go to 0. She needs to get moving right now. Because the speed here differentiation is going to come on very quickly. I'm hoping she doesn't get overtaken and immediately drop. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. 47 kilometers per hour, 40 kilometers per hour. Now it's the time to go. It looks like she's doing it, and good to see. Good to see.
Good job.
It's all going to work out here, and she'll catch Brewer pretty quickly, as you can see. Look at the speed,
awesome.
though. Do you see the speed here coming on through? I mean, it
exactly
almost can catch you
about.
off guards there. 128, 129 beats per minute. So she's got plenty to work with, it looks like here. Not in trouble at all. The other ladies have caught up. Great to see. Egowatt, though, they are on fire tonight. 16:30. What is happening? This is a breakthrough ride from Egowatt. I mean, they are 2 seconds ahead of the favorites coming in, I would say, would be Finesse Rockets, to be honest. They have been on fire, and now it looks like we've got an extinguisher showing up with Egowatt.
Well, this is exactly what we love in the ZRL. We throw this challenge out there of this insane team time trial course, and a team like Egowatt, Nathan, you mentioned this, like Beast Mode, they are coming not out of nowhere, and I get it. A lot of these athletes have been racing their bikes for a long time, but as far as for us right here, right now, this is what it's all about. They are now challenging Finesse Rockets, which were the new kids on the block, challenging the Saris the Pros Closet team. We're still waiting for their time at the split, but this is why, I mean, I'm already on the edge of my seat here, Nathan. This is going to be a nail biter. today. It's only 2 seconds. That's negligible. That's nothing, to tell you the truth. It is virtually tied. Sarah's the pros closet in with a 16:47. We have got three teams, Nathan, in with a shot at a massive win. I tell you what, you can put a gold star next to the win that you get out of this group today, because you certainly earned it. Nathan, I've talked a lot about events are judged by the quality of their competition. Well, I would have to say that wins, same thing. You know, who you're racing against makes all the difference when you look back on that win. And this will be a tough one for any one of these teams. This is beautiful racing today. I love it.
Absolutely loving what we're seeing here. Laura Perry hammered away. And we did see Egawatt did put out an awesome course recon as well of their own on YouTube. And obviously it's paying off. They have
Sure is.
really did their homework, you can see. And this is about gamification. This is about strategy. It isn't just about pedaling your bike hard. They have done everything, it looks like, to put this together. Now, the question is, can they look forward to this next and pedal through this next, what do we got? About 7K or so to the
Even
finish line at
6.
this point. 6K.
Even
So
just
head
over
down,
6. Yeah.
4 poles, maybe 5 poles. I mean, that's what they got left at this point to hang on to that 8 seconds over Stars Pros Closet, 2 seconds over Finesse Rockets. I have a feeling Finesse Rockets, do not count them out. They are strong finishers. So I have a feeling they're looking at this and going, let's get motivated, ladies. And they have some of the best DSs in the game, hands down. I have a feeling Mr. McGee right now is just calmly. He's one of the calmest DSs I've ever heard. But in there, giving a little, you hear a little extra in the voice, though. Little inflection, like, time to give it a go. So we'll see how this plays out here. This is very exciting between these three.
I loved your analysis a minute ago, Nathan, where you said, put your head down. It's going to be 4 more pulls. That is an absolute, that's the kind of thing that you would hear from a top-notch director. It breaks it down for you. It compartmentalizes the effort. You know that you can do this 4 more times. And so that speaks to the racer inside of you, not the broadcaster, because that's something only a racer would think or say, to tell you the truth. And I love that perspective. So 4 more big, hard pulls, and you're done, and you've got a shot to win. That team that we were just with, Agawatt, Ashley McIntosh, Caroline Boyot, Isabel Villieu, they're both Canadians, Jess Schenkhuisen, Julie O'Day, and Laura Perry. So this is a team to go ahead and write down in pen. We're going to hear a lot more about them now. So Marion, which is a school
Marion
in
University. This is pretty awesome to see. Now, I did not pick up on this the first week that
I heard about this the other day.
In here. This is really great to see that they've put together a team out here. We're in with Benson, Linnea Benson from Marion University, and one of the best development programs in the country, in my opinion.
No doubt.
When it comes to cycling on the men's and the women's side of things, I've raced against so many
those kids.
Coming out of there, and now they're challenging me. Like no one, like now they're lots of them going pro, and I'm like, well, that's not even challenging me. I'm looking at we haven't been able to race any of them this past year, really, because the last 2 years or whatever. But I'm looking forward to this summer. Going, oh boy, like wide eyeballs. Like, what do I got to deal with as I'm looking at their power numbers? So I mean, great to see.
It's not going to get easier now that they're on Zwift, Nathan.
Linnea Benson, 2 races. That's it. Level 7 Zwifter. So obviously, really new to the program.
Yeah, and with no in real life racing really for these kids, there is a smattering of it going on, but not much. This is how they pivoted, and they really stepped it up. Men and women. Elijah Beatty is a multi-time U.S. national champion, a tremendous track athlete who's got a lot of potential. Allison McCurry, we were just watching Allison a moment ago. Heidi Brewer, another very recognizable name, one of the best collegiate racers out there, Marta Morris on this squad, and Mia Scarlato. So, I heard you and Kate, Nathan, talking about junior teams and possible, in the future, if more and more high school and collegiate teams get together, eventually they could start hosting their own races. They could do that now. And, it's awesome about Zwift Community Live is, a lot of things are open sourced, and if there's kids there that want to start streaming these races and going above and beyond by covering your own races, you should. You guys would have, and women would have, an absolute blast with it. Um, and who knows, the next great commentator could come out of it too, Nathan. So that's extremely cool to see. They've got about let's call it 4.5K of racing left. That would be the Marion women that we were just with. And I see, Nathan, you've got the men up on the other screen here, as they're really into, oh man, the toughest part of the course, the crux right now, the reverse KOM here in New York, this fantastic world. I've come to
Yeah,
love riding in New York, but not right here.
this is one of the more difficult sections of the course. That's for sure. Now, I'm just going to jump in here real quick because the men are getting into their 10K mark. We want to get the splits in as quickly as possible here for them as well. Not miss any of their racing, but just wanted to quickly jump over and see where some of the things are at for them. America's for the men, though, we are waiting on some splits for them. So the live data, it does do well up front. Some of the events, though, they do struggle a little bit. We'll see what we can get for them, but it does look like HTFU, Rule 5, I just like to call them Rule 5 for obvious reasons. Now, pulling on through onto their climb, we are going to have every man Jack team now. It looks like with Engel as well as Abbott here. Adrian's is coming on through. They're kind of separate a little bit, 4 starters, though. BMRT looking solid as well with 4. Going to keep on moving our way backwards as it's going to be the Dirt team from Dirt Farm. They were within the top 10 here with their baby bottles, giving them a little bit of extra power in the back, but it's going to be Dirt Alert also just starting into their climb and just giving a couple of shouts. And then we have ZHQ Rockets. This is great to see. It looks like Jordan Rapp joining in with them as well. And we've got Jefferson, Rapp, Duel, Carly. Is that going to be Craig or Carly? Either could work because both would be awake at this time. Kieran's there as well. So, and then we have Reedy there. So I'm going to have to figure out if it's Craig or Carly. Coming in, Taylor hammering away. Oh, actually, it's gonna be Craig because of the U.S. flag, obviously. So, hammering triathlete as well as one of the Zwift employees. They're doing pretty well out here today. The Rockets taking things serious.
I am really, really impressed. This team has definitely dotted the I's and crossed the T's up till this point. Now, here's the big test. Nothing quite like hitting 15%. It does start to back off just a little bit, but now this is the slugfest. It just comes at you through this next kilometer. Well, actually, a little bit less than that, to tell you the truth, as they're already up and onto the climb, scaling their way now through New York City. So the Zwift HQ team here, I haven't seen any other team, Nathan, with 6 at this point. I'm sure you have throughout the day, but 6 together at this point would be a huge advantage if you can get everybody over the climb together.
Gotta get them all over the top. That's true.
You gotta get them all over the top.
You know, I think here also with the one of the things with the HQ Rockets is going to be that you made the roads. It's only your fault that you're suffering. Like you did this.
No one to blame but yourself.
Nobody to blame but yourself out here. This is all your fault, kind of a thing. So now they suffer right along. One of the things I do like about it 100% is that they obviously have a lot of employees that, ride the platform, experience the platform, love the platform, and use it in their own lives. And it's great to see them, participating in the racing scene amongst everybody. So really awesome to see. Let's go keep moving our way back.
It was really
cool with the Bubble Boy and Cosman as they start.
As we jump in with the Vision team, boy, we're going to have a lot of men's and women's teams all finishing in about a 10-minute period here today in the Americas East. I saw that Matt Stevens jumped in and did the WTRL race on Thursdays. And a lot of these teams, shout out to our WTRL friends for sure. Without them, we're not here. And so many people, especially over this last year, have absolutely fallen in love with the Team Time Trial. It's brought groups of friends together. What have we got here now? Riders all over the shop. I think I see Sarah's the Pros Closet actually getting past. So it looks like they were just passed by, and I'm thinking this is wait a second. Now, Sarah's would have started after.
Yeah, I think one of their riders was ahead and had caught Core Sports and then had to back off because it was just a little too much. And that would have been Cameron. So I think there was a little bit of disorganization
Back
for
and
a
forth, huh?
moment, a little back and
Yeah.
forth. I think perhaps Grossman was off the back for a moment there, Christina, now getting back on terms. But Cameron was mixed in amongst core sports. It got a little bit ahead, it looked like, and then had to back off to get the team back together. Now back up to 54 kilometers per hour, as you can see. I think they are going to make that catch eventually here. They may have to allow Christina to go now at this point at two. Oh, no, it's not Christina. It's Megan, actually, who's struggling, which surprises me a little bit at 130,
Good for Christina
133.
Grossman.
I don't think
You know,
that's struggling. Now, looking at Megan here, I think perhaps, unless her heart rate maybe monitor is not working super well at this moment.
little hiccup
Um,
there because you're right. She's just going to ride back in. This is a little, yeah, sub-ideal, as we say, but it's not her having a biomechanical. She's super strong. Well, all right, Nathan, I have to say for Christina Grossman, this is a breakthrough ride because she's sitting right here in the team and she's not struggling. She's the rider with the disc wheel there, sitting now moving up to the front, taking her pull. That we were joking about nobody puts baby in a corner. Well, a lot of riders say, I'm not a climber, won't be able to do this, but until you really try, you never really know. And this is solid ride. Now, let's take a look here. These splits have come in, and Finesse Rockets have taken control now, Nathan. You can see that gap is enough as we move into, that 16-second range over Agawatt. And they don't have much more than 4K to go after that check was taken. So Finesse Rockets, unless something pretty tragic happens, look like they're in pretty good shape. And this is a monster win for the Rockets. Agawatt sitting in second. Saris the Pros Closet third. Waddy Inc. Super Kitty sitting right now in fourth. Crouch and Gallopin, though, is on the same time. So that's going to be very interesting there. The teams are awarded points based on their ride today. 20 for the fastest team, 19 for second. You get the drill here, 18 for third. So these points really, really matter for our top two teams that are tied. And it looks like Finesse Rockets, Nathan, might take a step forward here today.
Yeah, perhaps. We said they were strong finishers, and it looks like that's exactly what happened here. That's a pretty good gap at this point for the Rockets. They should just be finishing up in a little bit. Here is going to be Eastler now on the front. Now Gagnon giving a little bit of a kick, 6.7. Watch me go. Cameron's there as well. Grossman trying to go plaid, it looks like at this point. Is she going to make it happen? She's still trying to prove it. Show me the plaid, Christina. I haven't seen it.
That's one of the great stories.
Ludicrous Speed is engaged there as we move backwards to live now as they go to finish up as well. 4.7, 4.8. It looks like a rider coming out of nowhere for a little bit of a sprint. I think that was a rando showing up. Rando Rambo coming
Yeah.
once in a while. Once in a while it happens.
Well, there you go, right? Yeah. One of the things maybe as the Zwift engineers, and a bunch of them race with us here, we noticed the Zwift HQ team, maybe when they hear that Christina Grossman wants that plaid feature, what do you have to do? Like hit 500 watts or something to go plaid?
We already got the orange
I don't
numbers.
know
I
the
think
details.
going plaid, you're going to need like 15 watts per kilogram or something insane like that.
That's pretty crazy numbers then. Yeah, not many people can go plaid. But then again, not everybody should go plaid.
That's
it's like
the point. Not everybody is
hyperspeed.
Spaceballs 1. I mean, there's
right.
just a reality that you don't all not
all
everyone
win.
has the Schwartz. That's how it works. All right. So all right. Jumping on in with the men. We'll jump back over to the women in just a second for the B category. But with Vision, it looks like a little bit of separation with them as they get into the drag race sections. There's two of them that I've called them essentially just a drag race along these long extended flats on the Rainbow Road, the translucent road of New York. And got 4 riders left, it looks like. Back now with Cannondale Echelon here trying to make the chase. They've got 18-second gap between them and Vision. Hopefully we can start getting some splits in. Most of the women in the A's have finished. I'm going to try and bring in the B or the C category for the women in just a moment.
All right. This last 10K for the teams, once they go over that reverse KOM, it's fast. It's a lot of downhill and then just a little bit of rolling, but they will be hauling to the finish line here. So very quick finale once you get through that pinch point, which is really defines pinch point on a course, that reverse KOM climb. So all right, so many racers out here. This is a very popular time of day to race as well. This is Prul of the Cannondale Echelon 4i team. I saw they made an exciting announcement about Chris Froome using a 4i computer today. I saw. It's pretty cool for them.
Oh.
It's always nice when you get a 4-time Tour de France winner on your stuff never hurts, and getting some eyeballs on it. Here I am talking about it, right? So Vision, um, Nathan, this is another team that obviously near and dear to your heart. A lot of Canadians racing for Vision now.
Wow, I mean that's a good point here. Costman here as we look forward. We are looking at Bubble Boy as well here. So this is a great. That's actually a really great point here. Almost like a America's
Canadian outfit now. Yeah,
Canadian
they
outfit coming
outsourced it
in
to
for the
Canadians.
Vision.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk to Q about that one. What's happening here?
Yeah.
Where's all the
Not that
maple
that's
syrup?
bad.
Where's all? No, not that it's
Yeah.
bad. Just where's all the maple syrup
You want your
coming
maple
from?
syrup cut.
And why haven't I
Yeah, yeah.
seen any maple syrup on my
Yeah.
front door at this point? So
Nathan needs to wet his beak on maple syrup.
just
Your
as
kids
anybody
would love it.
wondering, Vision launching out of Wisconsin here with the new generation for cycling, that tagline on there specifically.
You designed this kit, right?
The kit,
Isn't that
everything, the whole idea
Yeah.
behind Vision
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the new generation through creating a rhythm of sport in the same way that you would have with basketball, baseball, etc. In with juniors, developing around juniors and different levels all across regions. And we were partnering specifically with local bike shops to try and create local teams. It was a really great way to support the industry as well. So, but now it really is transferred over into the Zwift world, and it's pretty awesome there. I have definitely stepped away a lot from that, and now Mr. Quinton is definitely in charge. So I have no idea what's happening with this Canadian thing, actually, to be honest. But where's the maple syrup cut is the question at this point. But, we're going to move our way back through.
Program. Yeah, it's good to see that they've continued on. There's so many of these teams that if you're new to Zwift, you don't really realize, even though it's only 5 years, in a lot of ways, it's been like dog years as far as this development goes. So much has happened over the 5 years. So this is going to be our home squad, WTRL. They have a whole bunch of great teams as well, 5 riders together. Up and over reverse KOM, so they're on their way home right now. When the horse can smell the barn, it really starts galloping, and that's, I'm going to say, what we've got from Secret Company here. We can take a look at some splits, Nathan. It looks to me like next is 18 seconds quicker, which for if you're Cannondale Echelon, you have to be pretty proud of this being that close to this next level squad. Their name says it all. Royal City Cycling, MA1. They're not so bad either. 26 seconds back, and then you can see Cryogen Alpe d'Huez. This is from the 10K check. That's a pivotal check, to tell you the truth, because that's when you've just completed the hard climb.
I don't think Ashton is alone here. I'd be surprised. I'm wondering if some avatars are not showing up here, or
yeah, I'm going to guess that would.
Here.
Look, right now it's a 1% grade uphill, and he's moving at about 47, 48K. So he's not struggling.
No,
that is
really,
just if you're wondering, Ashton Lambie, the world record holder in the pursuit for quite a while, the greatest American track racer of his generation, and maybe more, to tell you the truth. And hopefully he'll get a crack at an Olympics sooner or later, as he should lead a U.S. team pursuit program. I guess the next chance for them really is going to be Paris.
Seeing if we can jump on in with some of the B category. We do have some of the B category women finishing. I think most of them are across the line at this point. We are unable to find them up front here. But we may be able to jump in with some of the C's, as I do have some of them on board. I'm wondering next have gone so incredibly fast that we've just lost them. Maybe Ashton did get dropped off, because I am seeing.
Maybe they went plaid.
Next.
They might have gone plaid.
They went plaid, and Grasicki cut a Zaro there, as well as Uberti. We've got Duffy in here. I mean, Uberti is actually who I was racing against in and he was just, a little bit of a smart guy during that Movistar. We're doing 6-7 watts per kilogram over the top of the new course, the Cliffside course in Watopia. And he's chatting away. Oh, where's this? What's going on with it? And I'm barely, I almost died. Me and a couple other, James Barnes, who you know well through the broadcasting, top innovation rider. Both of us literally said after the race, that was the hardest 30 minutes we've ever experienced on Zwift. I'm not kidding you. It was insane. insane. And
There's
I think he already
a
may
lot
have
of motivated
qualified.
athletes.
So I wonder if he's going to accept the
Well, that's awesome.
qualification and try and get
So
into that
Chris
Movistar.
Uberti works as an aerodynamics engineer in Detroit for one of the major auto manufacturers.
He's
So,
figured something out.
uh,
I mean,
well, and
aerodynamics.
he would know more about this. Like, think about that mix. He's an athlete that can race at this level, and next is it's so hard not to say next level, which is the name of the team. But they're one of the best teams that we have in the league, without any question. Yeah, Velocio also. Some really exciting new teams like that. Zach Nair here, very respected journalist. He wrote a very nice article about WTRL and this exact discipline, the team time trial, and talking about how realistic it is. Maybe more so than any of the other disciplines that we race with here. So we appreciated that, Zach. This is a team that we're going to be talking about a lot, Nathan, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think no, did Zach race twice today, or am I going
Well, these guys all raced this
crazy?
weekend too. Like we had Bruce Bird in Premier League and another platform hosted racing, and they were all out there doing it. So there's been a lot of racing going on for some of these guys. Uberti
Yeah,
was
I'm
another one.
wondering. I'm wondering. I feel like I'm
And
going crazy here a little bit because I
or maybe
swear I
they've
saw
got body
Zach
doubles. Yeah.
out. I swear I saw Zach out earlier racing. So cool to see if he is jumping in a second time here. I'm gonna actually double check his profile here and see where things are at with him. But I have a feeling that maybe not. Maybe he didn't race earlier today. For some reason I thought he raced
Maybe
twice today.
not to.
Grosicki
Yeah.
here. Grosicki now off the front, as you can see, 7.1 watts per kilogram currently coming from him. That is a huge effort right now.
These guys are
They did have
amazing.
a they had a pretty solid gap at one point. It looks like they most likely are going to take this down as the favorites. Now Echelon, though, I wanted to mention, this is a breakthrough ride for them because Echelon were sitting in the current standings overall at about, I'm looking through here, and it is going to be fifth place with 60 points. If they can hold on to that timing
Uh,
that they can see there, it'd be pretty amazing ride by them. As we do see that Rule 5 has come across the line. Now, apologies on the data, everybody. It does come through really sketchy on off here a little bit. So if we can get some better updates, we'll do so as quickly as we possibly can.
it gets a little glitchy. When I jumped on Zwift this afternoon, Nathan, there were 45,000 people Zwifting. That was the most I've ever seen. I know there's been more for sure, but it's a lot of folks out there getting their Zwift on. Next level is going to, well, let's see if they can run the season here with 8 wins because it looks like today will be 5. I don't want to predict, but again, they put together a command performance out here today in New York. This it's actually 20 kilometers and 70 meters of racing, but 1.1 kilometer right smack in the middle of it with that really think about 8% grade over a kilometer and a half, if you kind of are generous there, is the impact of the race happens right there. And if you can survive that, and with a team, and we've been impressed by the number of teams today that we have seen, Nathan, with not only 4, some teams with 5 riders as they go up and over the KOM. That's an exceptionally well measured effort out there by the squads. This is Cat Hill climb that we're on here. The man who makes the call on deciding the course is our friend Charlie, who lives in Manhattan, has organized hundreds and well, his dad was the legend, the godfather of New York City racing, putting on races out here at 4 a.m. They would wake up at 2 a.m. to leave the house, Nathan, to go out, put on races that would start incredibly early. You just think about what anybody around the world who's been to New York City realizes that Manhattan is something completely unique. There's Rome and Paris and London. It's the same kind of thing. Putting on a bike race in the middle of Rome. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it on the off hours, right? Well, so many people talked about this course. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of trepidation, and I think it was one of the best days of racing that we've seen in the ZRL. Certainly, team time trial wise, this one will go down as my favorite, to tell you the truth. I'm going to throw it back to you. This is another one of the spin-off teams in the llama world. I'm assuming, anyways, this is definitely
No
Llama
drama
Stay.
llamas. This is the no
Isn't this
no
a
drama llamas,
team?
keeping it
Right.
super chill here That's their whole thing is keeping
They're just
everything
chilled.
no drama, just
They have
chilled.
CBD
They're
sponsors
even
and
they're
everything.
even
Yeah.
they're even chilling up over the
Yeah.
top. It looks like here of this climb. Just kidding. Trish is killing it as you can see. Ego Out Experience is leading things out though amongst the ladies here right now. No drama. Llama stays there 34-17. They were sitting a little ways back. It looks like now we're gonna jump back to the Bounding Bobcats with the herd team. It looks like and
Nice alliteration there. That bounding Bobcats
there's
really
well
works.
three different it looks like three different was it
So blistering
bobcats, the
and
blistering, the
yeah,
blazing, and the bounding.
yeah.
So
They all
uh,
stick with the double B thing. That alliteration is smart. That's how announcers are able to remember. But then we're going to be overwhelmed with the blazing, blistering, and bounding. But we'll figure it out. That just like ATP, right? All the honey teams. Our friend Jim Withers hooking us up with a taste of the honey that powers this team. This is the Watts sisters that Nathan has found here. JGC. That sounds legit with the JZQC. Boom. Feel like that says it all right there.
yeah, and we're looking at the Americas East One Division One Ds, just so everybody knows. The little greens next to the names there say whether or not the teams have finished and that we have some data in for them. The battle really here, it looks like, was between the teams that have already finished with Egawatt Experience and Egawatt Fire. Solid, pretty good gap though. Really, it was the battle for third place between them. A little further down though, the 34s, as you can see, Llama Stay, the Blistering Bobcats, and Revo Kit Kats. That was a battle there, and it
Yeah.
looks like that's going to be um, finishing up in just a moment here with Jay Z. I think these riders maybe a little bit off pace from the top 10, but having a solid ride still. Britt here from Revo, Kay Burgess, Furry, as well. Les Watt sisters, little ways back. Is Revo, where are they standing here? This is going to be the Kit Kats, I think. They got a little ways to go, and they could overtake the Blistering Bobcats still.
The French Les Watt sisters, always very respected. Agawatt now, Nathan, how many teams? At least four now experience and fire here, pretty close together. It's interesting when you look at the teams that have stuck together out here, Nathan, and maybe they could have gotten a couple extra seconds by dropping a rider on the reverse KOM, but they've decided to keep the team together. I think that really pays off long term for some of these teams. You know, if unless you're in a pitched battle where half a second is going to matter, it's really good to keep the team together. Now, again, that's a holistic view, right? Where I'm looking big picture. Let's continue to work together to get better. Instead of, if you're racing for eighth place, keep the team together and work together and give up a couple seconds working on your craft. You follow me there? Like
Yeah,
it's not
100%. I mean, especially the reality of like once a week, maybe twice a week. Like some people completely reorder their whole day and week around this. So there is that reality as well. You know that you're not going to be able to get everybody together on a
yeah,
daily
right. You don't
basis.
get that many shots.
Some
Yeah,
of these teams, they live this. You know what I mean? There's
for sure.
they're trying to get Premier Division, etc. And you're only going to get better by practicing together. And I think that's really what that's all about. Is like, okay, let's make sure that we really learn the game in this sense. So I think one other
Let's
thing
get
that
our stuff
riders
tight,
can
right?
do,
Let's
riders can jump into though another race with a few less riders, not a big huge event, but a smaller event, and try and figure out that drafting dynamic within one of those races to help their teammates out. Maybe not at a time that they can all organize to get together. So that may be a way to do it as well. But I agree 100% that if you're really trying to get better, just dropping people off. I mean, unless you're like, look, we just want to be the best team in this D or in this C, and you know, it depends. Up front, you got to communicate those expectations though. Like somebody shows
if
up
you're
and
in
they
a
just
no
get
mercy,
dropped.
right? Totally, Nathan. If you're in a no mercy team where we are here to win and that is it, that's the only objective. Feelings don't matter. Okay, I get it, and that's fair. But I think for most teams here, it's like let's work together. And I completely get. Yeah, well, I think we're in complete agreement, which is nice. So here we are, Nathan. Cat Hill Climb. This is bringing it on home. They should see the finish arch in a matter. Well, they can see it right now, actually, from their perspective, looking forward because they are done and dusted out here. A lot of teams we're going to get coming across the line. We're in with our C's right now. I love that you do this, Nathan. Team Type 1, our diabetic friends, and that is a friend. But a lot of the diabetic riders who are Type 1 or Type 2, but Type 1 is really what the essence of that team is all about, proving that lifestyle makes such a huge difference. And when you can integrate Zwift into your lifestyle, make that commitment, man. Boy, does it pay off. Well, the rhinos, I think the most popular. I know bobcats have been featured tonight, but I think the rhinos are the most across the board popular animal on Zwift. I don't know. That's arguable. Very arguable, actually. But I'm a big rhino fan. And we are going to watch them finish here. Well, they've got about 300 meters. This gives you a good feel for what it's like. 4% grade now. And then you see they go over the hump there, pick up some speed, and then bring it on home. All right. Good job out here as we're going to finish up the Rhino squad. Let's see how they were doing in the season then. So this is Nuclear Rhinos with 51 points. So they're going to try to see if they can jump up to that WTRL SQL level with a good ride today. It is ATP Racing Nitrogen, 77 points, 75 there for Mad Mustangs. The teams start in reverse order based on how they've been doing so far this season. So the best teams start last. So these are some of our first finishers, Nathan, then in the C's, I would imagine.
Yep, C category for the men getting across the line. We didn't have any splits for them, so we're just going to look at the team league standings for
Flying
now.
blind.
See things how are moving across the line here, but this is going to be WTRL SQL. 55 points is where they were standing as they came in. I do know that we do have some of our longtime viewers in and amongst this group with the herd. I'm going to see if we can find some of the herd riders out here. I think this is going to be Sandro
Legends.
and crew herd mentality. Definitely legends out here, and absolutely loving that Bowser and crew. I think is going to be in here. There we go, finding them and taking their final left-hand turn. 190 beats per minute, putting on the show here at 190 for the cameras now. Loving to see this.
Yeah, no kidding. Did you see that Martin was mentioning the sequel team, his squad that is out there? That's the code he uses when he's working on stuff out here.
SQL, pronounced sequel.
SQL.
WTRL. They're just finishing up. SQL. That's my team named after all the code I used to fix drift power. I love it. Loving it. So,
he's a healer. He's a lover.
He's a healer, that's for sure. ATP, that's a nice way to put it just there. But okay, just kidding. So moving our way backwards here now.
Martin's our colleague, folks. We love Martin is the man, the brains. Well, that's not fair to you because you guys are both masterminds of the organization. That's for sure. Steven and I are more like front men.
Herd of Mustangs, I think this is going to be. Galloping.
Mad Mustangs.
Line. Mad Mustangs.
Yeah.
Right in front of me there. Yep, it is. 75 points right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking to the right. It's actually to the left.
We have 18 screens.
Yeah. Mojo, it looks like coming across the line. We are going to start losing people here. Sorry, everybody. But
people wonder.
At a certain point, it just falls apart when it comes to trying to make the coverage happen. With the current
These are all riders who have finished, who haven't yet logged out of Zwift. So they're all just sort of chilling, waiting for results and actually talking on Discord with their friends. I saw this and thought, wow, this is a really clean look at how we're going to really move into the final part of the season, Nathan.
Yeah, so what's going to be happening here as we look to find a few more of our D riders in the men's category in just a moment here and get some results coming in for everybody. But the ZRL Men's Premier Division across all of the regions are going to battle it out for the top 14 teams from each of the A1 categories. So A1 categories across all divisions, all regions, 14 of the best teams. They're going to be jumping in on the Friday, March 5th, Saturday, March 6th. For a points and TTT races, round 9 and 10. So it's after round 7. It's not 7 and 8. It's going to be round 9 and 10 for that battle. And 3 of the teams, the best teams coming out of that, are going to the Premier Division. And then in the women's side of things, same exact thing. With less participants, though, it's going to be the max of 8 women's teams making it into that shootout or playoffs, or as Martin put it the other day, I like the battle royale is what's going to be taking place. Full
That's what it will
on,
be. That's pretty accurate. Yeah,
full on
it's
gamer
going to be
style
awesome.
is what's going to be happening there. So
Yeah.
that's going to be pretty awesome. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, I'd like to give a shout out also to something that's launching this next week. Dave, look at this here, Dave. If you want to go through some of that for us.
Yeah, you bet. Everyone's excited about Zwift Duathlon League. It's going to be Zwifting as far as they can for 35 minutes and then running. You get a break and then run for 15 minutes. I watched a great video with our friend Lucy Charles Barclay, and I hope that she's out there doing this. I realize she's a triathlete, but we'll see a lot of those folks there. So you get a 10-minute break in between the two. So it sounds just right to me. All the bike races are mass start and non-drafting. So everyone's going to have a lot of fun with this. I think that the numbers already, from what I heard, a lot of people are signing up. So sounds like it's going to be popular right from the gun.
Yeah, Zwift Duathlon League launching 17th of February
Are you
2021. Check
doing
out
it,
the
Nathan?
details. Yeah, I'm done running. I did the running for a little while.
I saw you
and,
ran a couple times, and that
yeah,
that was
it
it.
was great. There was a
Yeah.
great competition. It was a great, awesome in memorial for my grandpa this past October,
Right.
and I
Family
was training
thing, and
specifically
right.
for that. We ran in and around the course where he coached cross country for about 30 years, and it was like we were running with grandpa there as coach. So I had to train for that. Now
Super
running is
cool.
done for Nathan. That was I will live. He
You
was
did it
also a
right.
triathlete and on the bike, and I'll live that on with him on the bike because it's not it's not something I was motivated for it specifically just to do that specific event. But beyond that, there isn't a whole lot of motivation to keep on going. So, but it was pretty awesome. Now back into it though. Here we do have Herd now coming across the line. And then it is going to be team at type 1 and a whole bunch more. The D's here, I mean, a little bit of disorganization amongst a lot of these teams. We've got people falling off like crazy. It's been a very difficult course, I think, for a lot of these teams here, Dave.
Yeah, that last push to the line, if you are already starting to unravel, that'll be the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. But as long as you're not the rider that the team is taking the time off of, once you're into that final 500 meters, you can go ahead and just ride it on in, as that's going to be Anil Radford, the Australian rider on ATP. Super strong. They've had a great season here and continue. The ATP Venom squad have been nasty out there, no doubt about it. And we're going to be looking now at a team that's going to make a run at the finish here on Cat Hill. Oh, it's nice to get this one done and done here. 20 kilometers was the distance. The severity of the day is, I mean, I saw Alice Lethbridge, Nathan, talking about her legs haven't felt quite as hammered after any of the races in the ZRL as they were after yesterday's for her.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the hardest courses, I think, that most of these riders. I saw very similar comments from the men's side of things as well in a few group chats. So I think Lionel Viasen himself actually said
Did he say that? I didn't
this was
catch
one
that.
of the hardest efforts he has ever experienced for a TTT. So
They didn't win, which is
I mean,
sort of interesting. Like Pio Otto, Nathan, has a first place, a first place, a first place, a 13th place, and a first place. Is that not bizarre?
That's a big points gap.
That is a
They have
weird
to,
run.
oof.
That is a
Well,
weird 5-race
it
run.
goes to show that when things can go super wrong on a technical. I mean, imagine if 5 riders or 3 riders all got flats on a team.
Yeah,
In the
and that's
middle
what
of a team
happened.
time trial. I mean, that's essentially what
Yeah,
went down there, and
yeah,
that can
right.
happen in real life. Let's say somebody broke a glass in the middle of a team time trial in real life, and 3 of the riders rode over sharp glass. Like, okay, we all got to switch bikes, and you get 13th, and you're the favorite.
Nathan, the thing that actually does happen because you are pushing the aerodynamic envelope in real life, you see a decent number of wheels overlapping and crashing, especially with the disc wheels and carbon, when carbon wheels became popular, pre-disc brakes. That was the toughest era of all because you'd apply your brake and your bike wouldn't slow down. So the era now that we are in seems to be much, much better for that, for rider stuff. It's a crazy time. There's no doubt with super tucks being banned and whatnot over the last couple of days. I saw
That's
Zwift
an
actually
interesting
released a
one. I
statement
don't.
saying,
Understand.
That is with
Very
all the
awesome.
problems that we have in this world, an interesting one to choose, I'd say.
The super tuck. I mean,
Yeah,
anyway, so
they're
I
pro
actually didn't
riders.
see
They know
the
what they're
Zwift. I
doing.
didn't see the statement from Zwift. What was the statement?
That the Zwift will not ban the super tuck. They will continue to allow it to be used in game after April 1st. So we're good to go. They're not going to take away your super tuck out here. And I saw Eric from Zwift
Wait, so
Insider talking about.
it's coming in on April 1st. Is this just a joke?
No,
Like
I know you would
is it
think the
just a
rule
joke?
becomes effective. I mean,
It becomes
unless the
effective
UCI has an
April 1st if
insane sense of
these
humor.
like
I know.
I
Yeah,
mean, that would be the
it's.
ultimate troll. Ricky Bobby coming across the line. I love that
I
name here.
agree with you, Nathan. I agree, but it's true. It is, and I mean, it's a rider safety issue in their mind. That's for sure. But we're cool in Zwift, I guess was the point. This is going to be, boy,
It's
low drag.
low drag coming across the line here.
Yeah,
We're just finishing up with a couple of the D category riders as we wait for the results to come on in. We're
gotcha.
hearing that Duathlon has 750 people so far signed up. Pretty awesome to
I'll make it
see.
7:51 because I'm going to give it a go. I decided.
Okay, is this actually happening?
No.
Dave, like what? Dave's gonna run. We're getting Dave to run. Dave keeps
Hey,
talking about doing
let
these
me.
events, and then it never
Yeah,
happens. I mean,
hey,
we're
come on now. I went on
now.
Mari Holden's ride on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. I was out riding with Mari. We did an hour in Sand and Sequoias. I've ridden over an hour every single day of this year. You can go on my Zwift and see. So I
There
have
we
not
go.
missed a day in 2021 in a minimum of an hour. So I did Alp to Zwift. I'm like a veteran out
The
there. I'm level
Swift,
29.
level 20. You got your Mellensteins? Did you get your
No,
Mellensteins?
I got a helmet, man. I got a
Oh,
helmet. Yeah, I was bummed. I was actually bummed after
I'm surprised
the
that
last.
Ventop doesn't have something that you get from it. Why doesn't Ventop have like a?
Well, what was really cool was so I have a Trek, and my when I was riding along, I didn't realize that I was going to complete. So I started. Unlike Simon, I was smart enough to turn on the
You
counter
watching
for
Simon?
me
Are
for
you
meter
watching?
because I wanted to Everest, and that's how you end up ultimately. I don't know in your day how it all worked, but if you want a Tron bike, you got to ride 50,000 meters, and you start the clock by doing the Everest challenge, right?
Yep. Yep.
So when I started the Everest Challenge, I thought, okay, that's going to take a while. Didn't really think about it again. And then I was riding along and it said, you got a Trek Madonna. No, Emoda, the lightest bike, like out of the blue. It didn't relate to me on anything. I was like, that's cool, man. Zwift is really digging me lately. I think someone at HQ threw a
You
bike
thought they
at
just
me.
randomly, you thought that
Yeah.
you like
No, I
randomly were
literally
just
did.
given like,
I
oh,
literally did.
hey,
I thought
you
like
got this. And somebody at Zwift is like pushing a
because
button because they see Dave.
James was like, Dave Toll's doing a great job. Give him a new bike or something.
That's
But
hilarious. Oh my
that
gosh. But it
no.
was just the challenge. It was just the
When you
challenge.
Everest,
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
Everest, you get a bike.
you got a
Yeah.
challenge. So
Yeah.
pretty
Hey,
awesome.
at least I'm talking about Everesting, which 2 years ago wouldn't have even been a consideration, right? So even though I'm a D level racer, I'm still proud, Nathan. Don't ever count us D's out.
We got the
All right.
America's East here, Division 1A, Finesse
Enough of that.
Rockets. Wow, they were behind at the 10K and brought back 22 seconds. Egawatt fading in the second half of the race. They were ahead over the top of the climb, but I think that climb maybe burnt them out just a little bit there. Finesse Rockets finishing strong. Ryan McGee making it happen.
You know what that
it
is
looks
too?
like with the rest of the women there. I mean, having a good DS, and then I mean, obviously the women putting in
Yeah.
huge work there on the back end. There's also they have a lot of really strong sprinters on that team, and so some pure wattage on those flatter sections of the course.
They kept the team together. Yeah. So what I love too here, I'll let you run through the results, but Agawatt does Finesse a huge favor by finishing in front of Saris because it's hard to get more than 1 point at a time out here, and they get 2 today on Saris to break that tie. But I'll throw it back to you, Nathan. This is a big day for Finesse Rockets.
Yeah, it is, and Agawatt as well, as they were sitting in fourth. Cryogen galloping behind Sarsa Pro's closet. Same kind of favor there with third and fourth place because that gives some distance for Agawatt that they couldn't have got otherwise. Wadi Inc. they're coming
Right.
through for 5th. CCY Race Like a Girl Do in 6th. Stages Cycling WA there in 7th. Misunderstood in 8th. Revo Whips in 9th. And then we have Royal City Cycling WA coming in for 10th place. Solid results there all around. In the this is going to be the men's. My mistake. Let's go ahead and take a look at the men's though here quick.
You bet. We'll take what we can get right now. Next level was exactly that with a 25.54, 5.5 watts per kilo. Holy cow, Nathan. That's amazing. Cannondale Echelon should be very proud of this ride as they just finished. Look how close this was for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, even 5th. This was a close race. Cannondale Echelon presented by 4i for 2nd. Royal City Cycling, that's Guelph. MA1, 3rd place, bronze medal. 4th place, that's chocolate medal for ATP. Chocolate and honey, doesn't sound bad. Racing Hydrogen for 4th. Crowdgen Alpe d'Huez in 5th. HTFU in 6th. Vision America's East in 7th. Endurance Works in 8th. ATP Racing Oxygen for 9th. And WTRL Supersonics Edition in 10th.
In the women's B category, it was the ATP Racing Stingers there coming on through for 1st place. Cryogen Marie Blanc in 2nd place there. And then it's going to be Herd of Hummingbirds in 3rd. Stages Cycling WB in 4th. Egawatt Extra in 5th. CCNS Ladies in 6th. BRT Fiery Kittens in 7th. Spinneman Buns hanging out at the mall here in 8th. Nice job to then. CC were Raced Like a Girl. Freya in 9th. And Wadi Inc. Shipwreck coming on through for 10th place for the C women.
All right, we'll stick with the women here. ATP Racing Hive. Congratulations. Outstanding job. And you can see how efficient they were there. 34.14, the time for the winners. Wadi Inc. Flash for the silver medal. Herd of Otters will take the bronze. Herd of Otters 1 will take the bronze. The Revo Doves for 4th. Margaritas in 5th. CCNS Merry Cranksters in 6th. Z Tsunami in 7th. Crowdgen Obese in 8th. Betty Squad C in 9th. And the mighty No Drama Llamas in 10th today. That's your America's East C women.
And it was the WTRL drafting dinos there in 1st. The Herd of Blazing Bobcats in 2nd for the D category in the women's America's East. Lama Stay in 3rd. Revo Kit Kats there in 4th. Herd of Blistering Bobcats in 5th. ATP Racing Buzz in 6th. Lay Watts Sisters in 7th. Herd of Bounding Bobcats there in 8th. WTRL drafting dinos in 9th. And C-Swipe Race Girl Pele coming on through for 10th place. And then in the men's, we'll head on over to the B category as ATP Racing Neon are at the top.
Thanks, Nathan. ATP Racing Neon with a 29.15. That's good for the win. Dirty Ducks in 2nd. Silver medal for them on the Rivet Oost B in 3rd. Dirty Diesels in 4th. Red Peloton B in 5th. Rouleurs Polo Velo in 6th. Cryogen Odacamp in 7th. Gotham Grinders in 8th. RR Northern Rhinos in 9th. And our friends at the ZHQ Rockets B team. Good job, guys. 10th place today. In the men's East Division 1B.
And then ATP Racing Nitrogen for the C's there. Hammering for 3.2 at 31.43 at 1st place. Herd Mentality coming through for 2nd. It's going to be ATP Racing Freon in 3rd. 30 Time to Grind there in 4th. WTRL SQL, pronounced Sequel. And
now we know.
Being told, loving that. They come on through for 5th place. There are our Nuclear Rhinos there in 6th. TT1 Carbonauts in 7th. I love that name. That's such a great play on words, actually, with the Team Type 1 Carbonauts there. Escarabajos and El Mundo in 8th place there. And this BWCC Nutella Racing. That is some of the best fuel. I'm loving that they have that on there. Cryogen Sakalobla in 10th place. 703 back. A little bit of a struggle there for the in the C category here, but great job finishing up Cryogen.
Nutella is rocket sauce. Stuff is awesome.
Recycling.
All right.
Recycling. If you're riding a lot, it is rocket.
You got to have the high burn on, the high burn going to make that work for you, right? Dirty Dogs getting it done. I don't know if they were powered by Nutella or not, but it was an outstanding ride. 37.04 for the win. 44 seconds back is the Team Type 1 Beta Cells taking the silver. Herd of Dainty Paints in third. That's got to be a kind of horse, actually, is what I'm learning, Nathan. But we'll see. You know who knows? Martin. Herd of Plowing Percheron in fourth. Herd of Dashing Destriers in fifth. Herd of Fighting Frisians in sixth. Wadi Ink Patriot in seventh. That's going to be Z Sun Bums in eighth. The Bums will never win, Lebowski. I remember that. They will someday. Hang in there, Bums. The STL Lamarific in ninth, and then BMTR underscore D Train. You can tell when the names are new to me as well, can't you?
Uh,
It's a big league. When you look at just even how we're breaking down the battle royale in weeks 9 and 10 now, it gives you a feel for. I mean, that's after we've sorted this down from 10,000 racers, the racers that will make it into that the combat round.
Largest weekly sporting event that I know of in the world by far.
Yeah,
So,
I challenge anyone. If you know of one that's more, let
yeah, if
us know.
there's
But I think
let
we
us
can
know
hang
if
our
there is
hat
a
on that.
larger
Yeah,
sporting event on a weekly basis. Well,
bring
you
it
kind of
on.
have an advantage being an online platform, being the first one that is a sport and is digital, and people can connect with online in a massive multiplayer online. I mean, the largest sporting events, esports wise, there's probably some that would challenge this, right? Organized though in
But
this kind of
weekly,
way
but a
on a
weekly
weekly
thing though,
basis, even in
right?
the gaming world, I'm not sure we have something this well organized worldwide, internationally connected to each other under the same branding, the same organizational structure. I'm not sure that that actually exists. We'll have to find out because that would be a double header when it comes to a world record,
Yeah,
not just an exercise slash in real life type sporting event online, but I think also worldwide digitally event in that kind of respects. You'd probably be challenged by some chess tournaments though, or something along
yeah.
those lines.
But in perspective, though, I think this is interesting too, Nathan. That if you looked at, let's say, the Sea Otter Classic, 3 4 day event, they end up with around 10,000 racer entries over that time. That's road, mountain bike, a criterium, a whole slew of different races. But that's once every year, and these days, once a year if we're lucky, to tell you the truth. Whereas again, we're doing this weekly. Martin is managing this weekly and WTRL, which, well, we have another race coming up with the ZRL to wrap up Community Day here, week 5 of season 2. We're going into, is it 94 or 95? I think it's 95, to tell you the truth.
95, week
Yeah,
95, week 95. Yeah. So, all right. So
unreal.
next up, we have Bowser Bikes thing. So he's doing Google search, I think, over on YouTube right now. I think he's telling us that this
What
is
did he come
actually,
up with?
well, I'm not sure. We'll see. He's saying there aren't even as many players in some of the gaming world competitions as well. So, all right. Well, next up, though, we do have America's West. It's going to be Kate, where I'm sitting. Dave's going to stay right where well, he's probably going to go somewhere for a little while, but Dave's going to stay right where he's going to be with
I'm
us right
staying right
here.
here.
He's
I
staying
won't
right
move.
there. He's not moving. He's not
Yeah.
moving. The look on his friend Dave's face there is great. Well, but they'll be back at you for America's West. If you like the content and the coverage here, make sure to hit those follow buttons and hit the notification bell so you get notifications anytime we go live. We are pick your favorite platform as well. If you're just coming across this, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, as well as Twitter. So you can check out any of those platforms, give it a follow, wherever you like to watch the most. Thanks everybody for tuning in. You can always check out the results, the current standings, everything that's going on with WTRL, all the new announcements. There's a lot of events that are coming out. Martin's telling me about something new almost every week that has been being worked on. So keep an eye on that space, as there's always something that they are putting together for us to do. Thanks a lot for everybody for tuning in. Great job to all the riders, and we'll see you in I'll kind of see you. I'll be on productions, but you'll see Kate and Dave in just a little bit. As always, everybody, right on.